What up? What up, Brew? What up, Taylor? How y'all doing? This my dog. I like a double echo thing. Okay, I figured out why I was hearing two things. This thing. Okay, I figured out why I was. Brew, when you do this, you can hear yourself? Yeah, my YouTube is muted. Oh, no. Okay, I think I got it now. Hello? Okay, can y'all hear me though? This live stream thing is terrible. It's putting weird shadows on my face. I don't like that. It's not working. I don't see why I don't see. This is weird. Oh, see, I can see the chat on here on this thing. What's up there, Ward? What's up? What's going on? I don't know what's going on with this this call thing. It's not working. But I can't hear myself anymore though. So that's good. I've been trying to answer the hangout. It's not working. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. Give me a minute. Hold on. YouTube needs to stop changing stuff. Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you on here, but
you can't hear me on the.
No, YouTube now.
I just unmuted it. You doing it?
All right. Go. Yeah, go ahead. You got it, man.
All right. Bye. All right. So we're gonna wait a few minutes. See, he gonna get on. I'm sorry about this lighting. The whole shadow situation is creating weird shadows on my face and shit. I don't like that. But it is what it is right now. Can y'all see that smoke? No, probably not, huh? Hold on. Okay, I see a few more people coming in the chat. What's going on? I'm watching anyway. Hold on now. What's up, Rashawn? Evie, what's going on? Oh, you've been waiting for this, huh? What's up? Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can share this. Okay, cool. I'm gonna get a few more minutes before I get started, but I do want to appreciate y'all taking out the time to, catch me live, see what I have to say, what I have going on. Appreciate it. I look, this new streaming situation, since you can't stream on YouTube anymore, is kind of weird looking. I'll fix the lighting and the shadows on my face and stuff when I get the hang of it. But for right now, I look weird and I can't do nothing about it. So what y'all doing? It's Sunday night. What y'all doing on the first day of the week? Because today is really the first day of the week, not Monday. What's going on, Rashawn? How you doing? I don't know why I look like this upside down. I think I know why it's upside down. Give a few minutes here. Let me see. Well, when you got through the first week, Mercury went direct. Last week was stationed to go direct last week, and then Mercury will become visible this week. So you should start to see communication get a teensy bit better. Communication and, electronics, software, technology, and shit like that. Y'all have any questions or I know I did one last Monday. I think it was Monday. Any questions from last week? Any updates from last week y'all want to get into real quick before I start talking about this week? If y'all hear a noise in the background, a snorting noise, that's my dog. Oh, and I'm drinking some alkaline juice that I made. We got Perrier water in here, spring water, frozen strawberries, peaches, blueberries, and agave. It's good too. Real good. All right, we're gonna get started in a minute because I don't want the people that's already been here waiting. You say it's a lot of noise in the background. I think that's really just my computer, to be honest. Because nobody's moving around in here. Yeah. It's not updating over there like it should be. That's weird. Oh, okay, it's all right. So let's just go ahead and get started. People that couldn't make it, they can watch the replay. All right. So today is the 4th. So we don't have much going on until Wednesday the 7th. And on the 7th, we have Sun trine Jupiter. All right. So, and the reason why it's a trine or a good or positive aspect is because the Sun is in Leo, which is a fire sign, and then Jupiter is in Sagittarius, which is another fire sign. So that's why it's a trine, because they complement each other. All right. And so what does the Sun do? The Sun brings things forward, right? All right. Shines light on shit. And then we have Jupiter, who's more like expansive, and Jupiter rules like spirituality, also rules Sagittarius. I talked about this in my August 2019 tarot reading for Sagittarius. All right. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's on my channel. All right. So, okay. With Leo, because the Sun currently is in Leo, right? So with Leo and the Sun, we know that Leo typically has a big personality. Is very, like, I would say, like, not outlandish, but they like to go big or go home, right? They're not the people that are going to be kind of, trying to play the back. That's not really their role. So because of that, you'll see, like, big opportunities may start to come around. If you've been planting good seeds, expect to start seeing some type of progression or tangible rewards from it, right? So if you've been planting good seeds over the last couple of months, even like over the last couple of weeks or something like that, you should start seeing that, right? And then we have Jupiter, which is expansion, and so you get to see like a spiritual growth. It can be personal growth. It can also be material growth, right? Because Leo like money. Okay, Leo likes money. Not so much Sagittarius likes money to a certain degree, but they prefer their freedom over money. All right. And I would know because I'm a Sagittarius through and through. All right. So this will also give you the opportunity to like broaden your own view and outlook on life right now. So remember, like what I said with Leo being big and like big picture. And then Jupiter is expansion. So that's why you get to broaden your own views and perspectives when it comes to life. All right. So that's on Wednesday. And then you may even be able to cash in on some of the good deeds and some of the good fortune from the good deeds that you've done in the past, or spiritual growth that you've had within yourself, right? So since Jupiter is being in a trine aspect with the Sun in Leo and Jupiter's in Sagittarius, even though it's retrograde, that's why it's more of an internal thing for some people. It may be that maybe you reach a new heightened level of spirituality or spiritual development, or you may start to see, maybe if you're doing like like magical practices, or maybe if you were trying to build your own intuitiveness, right? Because everybody has intuition. Everybody was born with it. Nobody came here without it. The issue is that over time, as you've gone and traveled through different dimensions, you experience some things that you lose some of that each time you go into the third dimension, right? You just do, because the third dimension is such a lower dimension that you got to leave some of that stuff that you learned in higher dimensions. You got to leave it up there in order to come down here, because third dimension is at the bottom. So that's that. But then we also have the first quarter moon. All right, the first quarter moon, I think that's the same day, and it's actually going to be in the square. So the sun will be in the square with the moon in Scorpio, because the moon, even though we have like a full moon and a new moon, the moon also changes cycles throughout the day and throughout the weeks, right? It goes through all the zodiac signs. So just like when you are born under a particular sun sign, you're born under a particular moon sign and rising sign and all that good stuff. But the moon still went through different phases. That's why when someone tells you that they need to, they want to find your natal chart or to build your natal chart or whatever the case may be, they always tell you to make sure you have the exact birth time, because the moon changes so often. And sometimes the moon goes void of course. And what that means is, when it goes void of course, that means that the moon is not visible, and it's not necessarily on a particular pathway or track. Like, for example, if when the moon is void of course, it's hard to kind of get things done, because I guess, like, the emotional state of being that people need to be in is kind of all over the place, so they're not centered, they're not aligned, because the moon is not on course to go anywhere. So it's just kind of splattered out there. It's just kind of just sitting, just waiting, right? So the moon will be in square, well, the sun will be in square to the moon in Scorpio. So those intentions that you set last week or even 2 weeks before, you may start to see, really last week, because that was the new moon. So you may start to see some obstacles regarding those particular intentions, right? Because when you have a square aspect, that means there's some type of conflict or challenge. It doesn't mean that it's impossible or that you can't deal with it, but that just means that it's some type of conflict that is going to take place or transpire, some type of challenge that you have to deal with. And when it's dealing with the moon, it's something that's internal, something emotional, something that stirs up the emotions. So with that being said, how do you combat that energy, right? So I always tell people, when there's a square aspect, try to figure out where it's particularly triggering. So if it's triggering, for example, say one of your intentions was to, start working out, right? Maybe you want to start working out. And shout out to my boy Rude, because he was talking about working out earlier. So maybe it's something dealing with, starting to work out. And now maybe, you may hit a plateau, or, things may kind of just start going a little haywire, because, you may want to, I don't know, get some different kind of groceries, but you can't find this and you can't find that. Well, the idea is that when you have a square aspect or a conflict or a challenge, the idea is for you to see the positive in that, right? Or to find another way to deal with it. So the opposite way to deal with that is to simply find alternatives, but to stay flexible. All right. So Scorpio, if I'm not mistaken, Scorpio is a fixed water sign. And so it'll force you to not be so fixed in your energy, or what it is that you want to transpire and all that kind of stuff. It'll force you to move more towards being a little bit more flexible. So remember, whenever you see things, and this is just in everyday life too, right? So if ever there's something that's challenging you or that's conflicting, you have to learn how to go with the flow, right? Sometimes you got to sit back and be like, okay, this is not happening the way that I've envisioned it to happen, or because I'm a human, right? I want to control shit that's happening. So because I can't do that, or it's not happening the way that I want it to happen, okay, I need to step back and I need to just let it be, period, right? That's how you do it. You go with the flow. I talked about this in last week's live too, is about understanding how to work with the energies that are presented to us, because 9 times, we don't control the astrology, but we do control how we react to it. All right. So that's what you do with that. And then on the 11th, which is Sunday. So I'm just covering like the major things. So next Sunday, Uranus or Uranus, however you want to pronounce it, is going retrograde, and it's going retrograde in the sign of Taurus. So, all right, let's talk about this. So Uranus rules technology, the higher mind. It rules like scientific innovations and shit like that. So when Uranus goes retrograde, those things kind of go with it. But since Uranus is in Taurus, let's think about Taurian things, right? So Taurus is an earth sign, so things dealing with the earth. So remember when we were seeing, you know, all these earthquakes and, you know, hurricanes that came out of nowhere and shit like that, it causes a ruckus. It causes like it shakes you up. It shakes your world up. And in this case, literally, it shakes your world up. And so since it's going retrograde in Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus is the, you know, the planet of love and romance and all that good stuff, right? So you'll be experiencing, and remember, retrogrades are about reflection. It's more internalized, right? Whenever you see, for example, I think Taylor in the chat, I think she looked at her natal chart or she paid attention to it. If you did, if you have any planets that are retrograde, or if you have any planets that are retrograde, what you'll see is that you won't necessarily see those things in the physical realm this lifetime, but you'll see them or you experience it more internally. Okay, so when when a planet goes retrograde, you have to rework shit. You got to rework, you got to edit, you have to re-strategize, and this is a good time to put your ducks in a row before the planet goes back direct, so that you can act on things that you've been thinking on. So with this retrograde, Uranus talks about rebellion. It also talks about like radical changes and stuff. So some people may have been experiencing like this internal conflict of wanting to change, or wanting to move fast into something, or want this like radical 180, right, to happen overnight. Especially now, since we're in Leo season, Leos have this drastic, dramatic type of outlook on shit, right? So this heightens that energy. So you may see like this inner change in your attitude, your perspective on life, your behavior, and this also, it invokes like changes for personal freedom, right? And it's interesting that it talks about personal freedom, because we even have this Sun trine Jupiter that's happening on Wednesday, and Jupiter is about freedom and expansion, right? Freedom of your mind. And then you have the higher mind, which is Uranus, here as well. So it's going to be a lot of mind activity. So make sure that you're grounding yourself, you're clearing your space, you're eating right, because this is a transit that your mind could, during this week, your mind could play some tricks on you to a certain extent, especially if you've had a lot of internal struggle about changes, like, you know, making certain kind of moves and shit that are like major moves, major changes, like, and you've been kind of like rebellious, going against the grain all the goddamn time. You don't want to go with the flow. You just want to do what you want to do. And that's what's going to be happening for some people, not everybody, but for some people who have decided to be more lower vibration of energies when it comes to these particular transits. So what else? Let's see. Oh, also, since it's Uranus and Taurus and it's going retrograde, Scorpios, anybody that has a lot of heavy Scorpio energy within their chart, pay attention to that too, because this energy will affect you as well, simply because Taurus and Scorpio are exactly opposite of each other in the zodiac realm. Okay, because if I'm not mistaken, I think well, I think it really just depends on the person, because, you know, there are some lower vibrational Tauruses and some lower vibrational Scorpios and shit like that. Oh, and also Aquarius too, because Uranus naturally rules Aquarius, as well as Libra as well, because Taurus and Libra are both ruled by Venus. So, and some people could experience like a positive change in love, right? Because Taurus is ruled by Venus. So this is love and relationship, intimacy, like closeness. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I talked about that in last week's video too. It could be maybe one of the signs that I'm referring to. I'm not 100% sure. But so it could be a positive change in love as well as in finances too. And then that's perfectly paired with this Sun trine Jupiter to have that material growth, to broaden your material wealth and possessions, right? So we have that going on. And then lastly, I want to talk about kind of what's happening right now. So we have the Sun, we have Venus, we have Mars. All of those planets are in, and Venus in Leo. So it's a lot of Leo energy here. Oh, hey, GK. There's a lot of Leo energy. So there's a lot of look at me, pay attention to me. And y'all let me know in the chat if y'all been seeing this. Y'all been seeing people who really are doing a lot of shit for attention. And it really, half of the shit that people do just don't make no damn sense. Because remember, I told you, Leo is the middle child of the fire sign. So they have a tendency to want to be front and center and sometimes they can be passive aggressive with shit too, right? To make it seem like they don't really want the spotlight, but they really do. They really do. Period. So yeah, so we got the Sun, we got Venus, we got Mars in Leo. And Mars in Leo, remember Mars is action, right? Mars is action, but when it's in Leo, you're very proud, you're overconfident type of situation. And you want drastic or dramatic results. Some people, hey, free spirit, Erica, how you doing? Some of you may want that, right? Depending on what you have going on in your own particular charts and your own astrology. I'm not sure what you have going on. If you want to book a natal reading with me, or if you want to get a tarot reading with me, let me know. The information will always be in the description box down below. All right. So like I was saying, because we have Mars and Leo, we're still having to be careful with only seeing the big picture, but not paying attention to the fine details. We still got to pay attention to those because it is utterly important, because you don't want to find yourself putting together such big plans. And I'll talk about something that happened on Saturday, on yesterday. I had an epiphany, and it really wasn't an epiphany to where it wasn't something that I didn't know. It was something that I already knew, but I hadn't put into practice because I was tunnel vision. My focus was on one thing. So I got in my notebook and I started writing a bunch of shit everywhere and all that kind of stuff. And then I got a dry erase board in my room on my wall. And so I'm, writing a bunch of shit down that I'm going to get done this week. I'm going to get done this weekend. And then I start thinking about it. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You are not going to get all that shit done. Period. You ain't going to get no sleep. You're not going to get any rest. You're not going to be able to, have any self-care. And so I talked about this last week too in the live. It's about these building blocks, about these stepping stones, about this steady progression. Some people may be slower than others, but it is about, so for example, if you have all these goals, right? So that's the big picture. That's Mars and Leo. That's the big picture, right? But then you have to go in and make small goals with steps to get to those milestones so that you can continue to get to the big goal or the large goal. Because if not, you're going to look at all that shit and I ain't getting none of this shit done. It's going to overwhelm you when you see it. Because you're going to be like, what the? I wrote all this stuff down. It's going to overwhelm you by seeing it because you see all this writing and because it's a psychological thing for humans. We have to be able to cross something off our list to make us feel good, right? That's just like when you were a kid, when you got something done, the teacher gave you a gold sticker, right? Where do you think that shit came from? It's a psychological thing. They learned that from psychologists. When psychologists would deal with children, especially children that may have had, issues, badass kids, essentially. So, make small goals. Small goals. Don't give yourself too much. Don't put too much on your plate. If you got a goal to start working out, to start eating healthy, to start doing this, okay, cool. Well, what's the first step in eating healthy? Go take your ass to grocery store. That's the first thing. You can mark that off. Okay. And then after you do that, then you say, okay, well, maybe before I go to the grocery store, maybe I should put a list together so I won't be picking up a bunch of bullshit. I have a plan together. You devise the plan. So that way you're utilizing this Mars and Leo energy, wherever Leo falls in your chart, you're able to utilize that energy so that you can, you know, have this big goal, and that's fine, but then scale it back to look at the details of what's going on, how you get to that. Because you can say you want to make $100,000 a year and you have no plan on how much that is per month, per week, per day, or how you're going to make $100,000 per year. Okay, so take that and run with it, right? GK says about that attention thing, it seems like everyone online chasing clout now, no matter sign or gender. Maybe folks don't get enough attention in their real lives. That could be very true for most people. The clout thing is just going to be more in your face now. And yes, it is regardless of sign, but it's the energy, right? It's literally the energy that's surrounding us right now. That everybody, there are a lot of people who just want to be seen, regardless if they're a Leo or not. But remember, like I said, you have all the zodiacs, all the zodiac signs within your natal chart, because the zodiac wheel didn't stop when you were born. Okay, I said this in the last video, and I just want to make sure we clear that up. All right. Hey, Kenny, how you doing? So again, you'll be seeing a lot of that. People will be doing a little bit more outlandish shit. Period. That's just what it is. That's just how they doing it. And that's just the energy for the next couple of weeks until we move into Virgo season. And people gonna calm their little black asses down. I mean, not necessarily black, but you know, they gonna calm their asses down. And then what else? We have so right now, as of right now until the 11th, we have Mercury in Cancer. So this time, since Mercury stationed to go direct last week and it'll become visible this week, we still have Mercury in an uncomfortable sign, which is Cancer. Mercury does not like to be in a water sign. Why? Mercury is about clear communication, period. A water sign, you know, I mean, it can go a lot of different ways. I mean, if you heat it up too much, you know, it can cause some other things to be going on. If, you know, it's just a lot of different elements that play into that part, right? So with that being said, if Mercury's in Cancer right now, it's talking about that, like Mercury communication, and especially because Mercury just went stationed to go direct and will become visible this week. We're in this Mercury shadow phase. So the Mercury shadow phase is like 2 weeks after Mercury stations to go direct, where you'll start. And I had to tell my I call him my dad because he's become a father figure for me, but I had to tell him about some of the decisions that he was making or people that he was starting to get in contact with. Man, give us some time. You know, over the next couple of weeks, you'll start to see all the information that you needed to unfold. You won't even have to ask nothing. You won't have to look into nothing. You won't have to do shit. Everything will start unfolding, and you'll start to see what decisions that you have to make going forward. Because people always tell you during a Mercury retrograde, you never make major decisions, whether that's in business, that's in love, that's in friendships, entrepreneurship, whatever. That's not the time. Okay. And then let's see what else we got. I think that's really it. Mercury will move into Leo on the 11th. So we'll be out of that Cancer situation and we'll move into Leo. And you'll start to see the communication be a little better. And to be honest with you, Mercury and Leo, you may still get some of that clout chasing shit. You know, people want to communicate with you about doing stuff just for the gram, or doing stuff just for YouTube, or doing stuff, you know, just for social media influence, right? You'll start to see a little bit more of that too. So I think that's everything that's going on this week as far as like major things. If they're not added in, you know, some of the, you know, just standard planetary aspects that we have going on with what sign particular planets are in. I think that's it on that. Take a sip of my alkaline juice. Thanks, Kenny, for posting that for me. I appreciate the love and the support. You know, y'all could be doing anything else on y'all Sunday night, but y'all chose to watch a sister and listen to what I have to say. So I've already saged the cards, and I'm going to turn my sage back on one more time because I just like sage. The smell is not too great, but I love the way that I feel when I sage, when I have it going. And that's another thing. Y'all want to clear y'all space? Get you some sage. Oh, thank you, Taylor. That's so sweet. But you want to clear your space? Maybe get you some sage. I use just plain white sage. Oops, shoot. And I get the big one. I like the big. Anyway. This is a little jokey joke. Anyways, so yeah, sage will help clear your space. If you're ever feeling anxious or you're feeling overwhelmed, and some people may be feeling like that this week because they're going to have that internal struggle and conflict because of this Uranus retrograde in Taurus. Some people, not everybody, but some people. Get the sage. I will burn the sage on side of my bed. Like, for example, I think it was like 2 or 3 nights ago, I was feeling a little anxious. This is a habit. I got a little anxious and it was hard for me to go to sleep. I lit that sage, baby. I was knocked out. I was darn everything. Okay. I'm just saying, you want to clear your space, get you some sage, but make sure when you sage that you always, always, always leave a window crack, or a door open, because you want to release that energy. You want to move that energy. Okay. All right. So let's get into the shuffle for the 12 signs. And you know, we always start off with Aries. Aries is always the first one. I'm going to use my Universal Rider-Waite Tarot deck, Old Faithful. But I decided that I'm going to use my new Oracle deck, Work Your Light. Y'all see that? Yeah. This Work Your Light Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell. I love this. It's so pretty. I love the abstract artwork, and you know, it's featuring real people. Y'all see that? Yeah, it's featuring real people. So I'm gonna use both of these, and then hopefully we can get 1 card for each sign. Last week we was getting 2, 3 cards and all that kind of stuff. And hey, I can only go with what Spirit wants me to say and tell. Okay. All right. Whew. All right. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Aries? The Ram. What guidance can you provide to them this week so that they can continue on their path of higher consciousness, to utilize their own innate characteristics, traits, and abilities to manifest going forward? How can they flow with the energies for this week? What information do you have for us? Know that you are always welcome, and we thank you in advance for your clear and concise messages for our highest and greatest good. And we got for Coach Chat. What you got? What you got? What you got? All right, Spirit. Well, that was fast. For Aries, we got the 6 of Swords. The 6 of Swords is moving away. You're moving away from something. I don't know who or what it is that you're moving away from. I kind of feel like y'all got this last week, but I could be wrong. GK, I don't know if you remember. I know you're in Aries. You can pay attention for your sign. I don't know if y'all got the 6 of Swords last week or not. But the 6 of Swords is basically moving away from something that no longer serves you. Moving away from people, places, situations, situationships, things, whatever the case, whether any type of conflict, anything that put you in the energy where you had to fight, anything that put you in the energy where you had to argue, where there was constant challenges and conflict, move away from that shit, because it's not serving you, right? It's not serving you for your highest and greatest good. And now it's good that you're moving away from it. So what else is there to do? Move away from it. But while you're moving away from it, you probably will still have some feelings surrounding it, whether it's a person, place, or thing, especially since we have this Sun trine Jupiter, right? Aries, you're a fire sign. So this may be exactly what you needed in order to move forward and to keep going, right? I really feel like that's something, there was something that needed to end, that you were procrastinating with, you were teeter-tottering with, and it's like, look, you got to move on, you got to move forward, you got to keep going, because this is not serving you. It's not putting you at higher elevation. It's not taking you to higher mind, higher wisdom, expansion, and knowledge, right? It's not doing that for you. So now you have to move forward, because remember, swords represent the mental. So there was something that was screwing with your mental, or something that put you in a position where, you know, you were confused about something, or maybe you were imbalanced in your mental about it, right? Maybe you were thinking of it in maybe more of a emotional way than a logical way, and you weren't leveling it out. You weren't tempered at that particular moment, right? And GK, let me know if any of this resonates with you. I know you know your other signs too, but I know you have a lot of Aries in your chart, so let me know if this resonates with you. But definitely moving away from something, someone, whatever the case may be, but whatever it was, this is good. You're starting to make the steps, or moving towards getting away from anything that was conflicting you, or that was challenging you. Yeah, and definitely, because right here at the bottom of the deck, we have the World card. The World card represents, in a sense, it's a circle, right? Circles represent cycles. So this is a new cycle that you're bringing in, because you moved away from whatever it was that was causing conflict. All right. So good luck with that, Aries. Leave me a comment down there and let me know how it worked out, or how is it playing out for you. All right. Taurus. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Taurus for this week? What guidance do you have? Oh, Taurus. All right. Third Ward Colombian. I got you. The King of Pentacles. You showed up in your own reading, boo. All right. And then there's the Ten of Cups. Yeah, I apologize if y'all can, if there's a glare. But let's talk about it. King of Pentacles. Getting your money. Period. Period. Okay. So this is you sitting on the throne, looking at all the things that you've had to go through, right, to get to a position where you are financially stable and comfortable. And then the Ten of Cups represents this emotional satisfaction, because not only, I mean, what else does a Taurus want besides stability? Taurus is love, stability. So this stability from, okay, all right, this stability from this material wealth and possessions gave you emotional stability. Because I don't know if you've ever been around a Taurus and their money wasn't right, they are not nice people. They are depressed, Debbie Downer type of situation. Because what's happening is the Taurus needs to be grounded, right? Needs to be rooted. They love to be rooted, and if they're not rooted and grounded, they ain't right. And so this is good, Taurus. Now you get to see, now you get to sit back and chill, right? Because now your finances are getting to where they need to be. Now your finances are getting where they need to be, and it's creating this emotional stability and satisfaction. And remember, 10 breaks down to 1. 1 is a new cycle, a new beginning, right? So maybe some of y'all may be leaving or moving away from like lacking money, right? Or not being stable in your money. Now it's coming to you, because if you look at this guy, I apologize for the glare, y'all, but right down there, okay, right down there, he has the Emperor's foot. Now the Emperor's foot, that's an armored foot. That means you have to go through some battles, you have to go through some war to get where you are. You have to experience some shit, because he has this spear in his hand too here. I think that's what it's called. It's called spear. But he has that in his hand too, and he has the castle behind him. He has all this greenery. And remember, we got the Capricorn. Some of y'all may be dealing with a Capricorn that may have helped you get on your feet. That could be it. Or you could have a lot of Capricorn energy within your own chart that's happening right now. Especially since we have Saturn in Capricorn. So Saturn in Capricorn could have made you get your ducks in a row, right? Get your ducks in a row so that you could get to this point where you have some emotional satisfaction, right? Because you're financially stable. All right. All right. Moving on. Gemini. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Gemini for this week? What guidance do you have? Oh, that's too many cards, y'all. Too many. All right. What messages do you have for the sign of Gemini? How can they move forward this week? All right. Any more cards you want to give Gemini? Gemini got 2 cards too. Hold on, y'all. Let me get the cards. Gemini actually has 3 cards. Gemini, you got the Queen of Swords showing up in your own reading. Swords represent air signs. You got the 10 of Pentacles, money, earth signs. You got the High Priestess. All right. So let's talk about this. Queen of Swords. Being somewhat immovable, but you're being receptive at this time. Being receptive, you got your guard up, right? Because you've learned some shit. Oh, your mama. My mom's a Gemini too. You've learned some valuable lessons, right? When the Queen of Swords comes out, she's one of those people, she's learned some lessons. She got the clouds all surrounding her. So they could be, you know, you being in your mind. The clouds are above us, right? The clouds are above us. So they represent the mind power and shit. So you could have been in your head about certain things, but with this, she's receptive to receive information from other people, but she's also in this position where she's making head over heart decisions, right? She don't have a head in the clouds. Even though you see all those clouds back there, she has her sword in one hand and she has the other hand up here like this. Like, look, don't play with me and don't try that shit. Yes, she is, girl. Don't try that shit. That's not gonna work, right? I'm willing and open to hear what you have to say, to hear your suggestions. But at the end of the day, I have the ultimate decision to make on what's good and what's right for me. All right. And based on doing that, based on making these head over heart decisions, now you can get to the point where you're moving towards this 10 of Pentacles. And the 10 of Pentacles is getting to a point where you are not only financially stable for yourself, but financially stable for those around you, for your legacy, for your children, for your offspring, for whoever, right? Whoever your loved ones are. Now you have enough to give to them, or you're working on it, right? Because remember, this can be past energy, present, or future energy. When the energy is fluid, all right? And then there's the High Priestess that came out. The High Priestess talks about the balancing of the light and the dark, the balancing of the yin and the yang, the feminine and the masculine, being able to balance those. So I see that as, and then there's the lunar crescent moon down here at the bottom of her robe. And it also talks about like this, and there's a lot of blue going on in there, and the pomegranate. So it's talking about spiritual growth. But your spiritual growth makes your emotional growth happen too, right? All of those happen simultaneously, because when you build up your spirit, man, you also build up your ability to think straight, your ability to not think off of emotions, but to temper them, to have them as an even keel, not to be in your head too much, because remember, air signs can be in their head a lot. All right, and air signs are Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. All right, so by you taking the opportunity to go within, right, to reflect, to build your spiritual gangster, to build your spiritual capacity, right, it gives you the ability to make these head over heart decisions. Because remember, in order for you to make decisions that are for your highest and greatest good, you got to know what that is. And if you don't know what that is, how are you going to make the decision? How are you going to be like, okay, well, I've learned my lessons, but then you not be able to utilize the lessons that you've learned going forward, making decisions on what's good for your life and for your loved ones. Okay. So that's Gemini. Gemini, let me know how it goes. All right. Cancer. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Cancer? Let's see if we can get another one. Seems like everybody's been getting 2 cards. All right, Cancer. Looks like you stuck with one, but it's okay. The Empress. That's you, baby. That is, now you are in a position to own your own natural power. And what I mean by that is Cancer is naturally like the mother of the zodiac. And they are emotional too. But there's a reason why they're emotional, because one, they're water signs. Water signs typically are very emotional, even if they don't show it outwardly. They inwardly they do. They have a lot of emotions. But the Empress card here is you being in the flow, right? But it's also you being able to have self-care, get your ass outside, ground yourself when you're not feeling right, especially, you know, with this Uranus retrograde energy. If it has been affecting, if the actual transit itself has been affecting you, then this retrograde may affect you in a different way. Okay, so it's being in the flow, understanding and knowing how to work with the energies, how to move with the energies, how to utilize them to help you manifest, to help you get to a point where you can have a harvest that you can reap. All right, because down here she had a previous harvest. And you see all this growth and abundance around it. Look how beautiful the trees and shit are. There's a waterfowl back there. And then you have this Venus pollution symbol. So you may be having some luck or some harmony within your personal relationships this week. So be looking out for that. But it's based on how you flow with the energies. Don't force your will. Don't try to control shit. Go with the flow. That's what you got to do this week, Cancer. Go with the flow. And everything will be just fine. You know, you'll start to see a little bit more harmony within yourself, right? Within your own state of being, but also with others that are surrounded by you, others that you are close to. All right. Leo. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Leo? For this week, what guidance do we have for big head Leo? All right. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign? So Leo, you got the same card. You got the King of Pentacles. Who was that? The King of Pentacles? Was that Gemini? Who was that? Taurus. That was Taurus. Taurus that got King of Pentacles. You may be dealing with a Taurus this week, or you may have a lot of Taurus energy within your chart. But again, just as the same thing as I told Taurus, Leo, this is your season. This is time for you to capitalize on your growth, your material growth. This is the time to do it. Don't sit on it, especially since we have this Sun trine Jupiter. This is your week to capitalize on opportunities. Don't get so big-eyed and bushy-tailed that you don't see what's going on. Because if not, then you're going to find yourself missing out on opportunities to make that money. You don't want to do that. So keep your eyes peeled and see what's going on, right? See what's going on. If you need to take a spiritual bath, take a spiritual bath. If you need to sage your house, sage your house. You need to clean your house, clean your house. You need to clean your car, clean that. Because that is going to help you to make sure that you're making the best decisions, that you are seeing everything that needs to be seen. If you pray, pray. If you meditate, meditate. Keep an even keel this week, because you need to see what's happening and what's moving, what's going, because that's going to help you get to this King of Pentacles status where, you know, you're satisfied, you're financially stable, right? You're not missing out on any opportunities to make any money. All right. Virgo. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Virgo for this week? What messages do you have for the sign? Okay. All right, Virgo. You had a card flip over in the deck. Ace of Pentacles. There we go. Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles is you getting on this new journey. It's about money. I see a lot of people getting some money shit this week. You know, you're doing some money shit. The Ace of Pentacles is talking about you getting on this new path, this new journey, this new pathway, right? And it's divinely guided. There's a hand that's coming out of this cloud. Get my fingers right. It's coming out of this cloud that's offering up some money or some resources or something that you can physically touch that you can utilize so that you can get on this journey properly, right? So Spirit is leading you this week to get out of your head, Virgo. Because I know y'all have a tendency to be in y'all head a lot. Y'all overanalyze, overthink. Stop all the overthinking, all the goddamn overanalyzing. If you already have worked out the plan, what the plan is going to be, okay? You already put that plan, put it on paper. Start moving to this new shit. Start moving. Because if not, you're going to find yourself missing opportunities. Like I said, with this Sun trine Jupiter, this is for you too. I mean, this is for everybody. It's for the collective. But don't miss out on opportunities because you are overthinking, or you in hermit mode where you are, you know, by yourself and isolated. You know, you in that Five of Pentacles energy, where you in, you know, sometimes voluntary type of isolation and suffering, right? Because if you remember the Five of Pentacles, it's these people standing outside, they're walking, all out tore up and ratted up. One dude, he's walking on crutches, leg broken, all that shit. But instead of them going inside where the church is, they decided to stay their ass outside in this damn blizzard. That don't make no sense. Okay? So that's the advice for you for this week, is get on this new path, this new journey, this new pathway, right? You don't know what's on the other side if you don't go and try. All right? Well, Sean says, I'm about to make moves. This is perfect. Yes, make your move, shit. You know, you never know what's going to happen if you never try. Just try. What's going to hurt? As long as it's not something that's going to hurt you, put your family in harm's way or anything like that, go for it, right? Sometimes you just have to, because you never know. All right. What's the next? Libra. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Libra? All right, Libra. You have a card loud on me. Let's see if I can get another card for you. That's it. That's all Spirit got for you right now. Hold on. Oh, okay. Y'all got the Nine of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles. That's a slow moving offer that's coming in, but it's coming in nonetheless. So don't be discouraged. If you've been waiting on something and it hasn't come in yet, it's okay. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to harm you. Be patient. I think that's one of the things that Spirit wants you to know, is to be patient this week, because there is something that's coming in for you, something that's going to help you build your material wealth and possessions. There's a lot of money that's going on this week. So you got to keep your eyes peeled too. It may come in a way that you may end up overlooking it because you're not paying attention to it. You know, you may be moving too fast, scrolling too fast on social media, scrolling too fast through your emails and stuff. Check your emails this week. Okay, since Mercury will be visible, check your emails. And this is for everybody. Check your emails, check your spam, check your junk mail, check all that shit. Make sure if you're sending emails out to people that they actually got it, they received it. Make sure you go back to that sent box and look. Okay, you got to. All right. And so with Libra, I know you may have had a cycle of time where you were just going, being really busy, being kind of convoluted with a lot of different tasks, right? But like I told you in your July reading, I told you, it's time for you to ask for some help and slow down a little bit. You got to stop and smelling roses. You got to, get in that Three of Cups where you celebrate a little bit, right? And so within this celebration, you may see this Knight of Pentacles show up with your money, right? But it's about you being able to pay attention to what's going on. So that's why I say, everybody, pay attention to what's going on. You've been sowing good seeds. Pay attention to your emails, see social media, all that kind of stuff, because you never know. Things can come in packages that we don't necessarily expect them to come in, but we look for them in one way and they come in another. Okay, especially with this Uranus and Taurus. I'm just saying. All right, Scorpio. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Scorpio for this week? What guidance can you provide to Scorpio? Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Scorpio for this week? Scorpio, you being you got a lot going on? You being stubborn? Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Scorpio? There we go. There we go. You came out of hiding. You want to show yourself now, Scorpio. I got you. Got you. Two of Swords in reverse. All right. Two of Swords in reverse talks about you no longer having this mask or shield over your eyes, the wool over your eyes. Because there's no conflict, or you don't even know if there's a conflict if if you got this blindfold on. So let me explain the imagery here. So it's a lady, she's sitting on a concrete post in front of this body of water. There's a lunar crescent moon that sits in the sky. She has two swords crossed across her chest like this, guarding herself. If anybody knows the Scorpio, you know how much they guard themselves, especially their hearts. They guard their hearts like a motherfucker. They do not let people in, period. You have to peel back the layers with them before you can really know what they're about, who they, what they are about, what they have going on, who they're doing it with, blase, right? But she also has this blindfold over her eyes. Well, how is it that you are covering or protecting yourself with a blindfold on? You don't even know there's a fight actually happened. You don't know how many people there are that you have to fight, but how can you fight with your eyes covered? You can't. So some of y'all may have been getting out of this energy or have gotten out of this energy where you are no longer fighting with a blindfold on, or you're no longer in this space where you are being restrictive, right? Being restrictive. So this is coming out of that restrictiveness, that blindness, that I don't want to see, turning the blind eye to shit, right? That's what you're coming out of. And that's good, because now, since you've come out of that, now you can see with this Wednesday energy, with this Sun trine Jupiter, you can see what's happening, what you need to take action on, what it is that you may be rewarded for based on, previous energy or based on previous things that you did. Now you can see the good fortune come back in from that. You can cash in for that shit, right? Now you can see that. But it's only until you have gotten to this point where you're taking the blindfold off. You got to take the blindfold off, because the blindfold is not serving you or anybody else. All right. Let's see, what was at the bottom of the day? Oh, it's just this card. All right, squad, y'all ready? Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Sagittarius for this week? What guidance can you provide to the Sagittarius this week? All right. Knight of Cups. All right. Hold on, let me get this shit right. There we go. You can see it a little better. All right. Sagittarius, you got the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is somebody who is passionately bringing you an offer, communication. It could be a cup of love, because there's a lot of red in this card. But it's something new, because there's not a lot of greenery in this card. You can see that. There's not a lot of greenery in this card. And what that means is that basically you got to build from the ground up. This is if it's, say, for example, if it's a love situation, right? If it's a love situation, this is somebody who y'all basically are going to be starting from scratch. You're going to learn each other. You may start off as friends, or, there are real basic things that y'all will be doing together, right? Starting, it could be this week, it could be next week, but this energy could be something that starts to culminate over time. You may be meeting somebody may be, finally professing their love for your ass this week, right? They're bringing their cup of love, and cup is represented by water signs. So it's Cancer, it's Pisces, and Scorpio. So you may be dealing with one of them, and since it's got that red in it, and also there's fish. Let's see, there's fish in there on his armor. I know you can't see it. I apologize. There's fish on his armor. Fish are represented by Pisces. Okay, so there could be a Pisces that's confessing they love you. Like, look, I love your ass. Period. Let's do something. Let's start something. Right? It could be that too. Or it could just be some passionate communication that's coming from someone about. It could be about anything that'll move your emotional state of being. So that could be love, that could be finances, because we got a lot of financial stuff happening this week. I really feel that, a lot of financial stuff happening. So it could be somebody, giving you some information on, that excites you to get you started when it comes to making money. But really and truly, I really feel like somebody is offering you some love and support, even if it's just platonic and it's just like a friendship. Somebody is offering you that, because the Sagittarius has to deal with a lot of BS over the last couple of years. So with that being said, now you get somebody that's genuine, right? Water signs, for the most part, I haven't ran into a lot of fake ass water signs. You know, it's kind of hard for them to be fake because they literally wear their emotions on their shoulder just like a Sagittarius would. So keep that in mind this week. And remember, keep your eyes open. This could be, you know, communication coming from anywhere. Right, Taylor? Thank you, Kenny. Thank you. But this could be from anywhere, from any person. Okay. Just pay attention. Like I said, pay attention to emails, text messages, DMs, Facebook messages, whatever. All right. Capricorn. Spirit will messages to you. So sign of Capricorn. Okay, one card jump right on my lap. See if I can get one more. All right. Ooh. The Devil card in reverse. This is you showing up in your own reading. Damn. And the reason why I say that is this is your actual tarot card. This is yours. So for like Sagittarius, our tarot card is the Temperance card. Even though we can be represented by any of the wands, but the Temperance is our card. This is your card. In the Devil card, let me show you what it looks like in the upright position. Move it this way and then like that. There we go. So in the upright position, you see there's a man and a woman. They're chained together, and there's this guy with a devil head and wings that sits in the middle of them, above them. So in the upright position, the Devil card represents restriction, being bound, and basically being paired with someone or something that is not for your highest and greatest good. But in the reverse position, that is you now breaking free, or you have broken free from whoever or whatever this was, right? Whatever situation this was, whatever person this was, whatever ideology this was, now you can move forward because the shackles or the chains have been broken. So the shackles and chains that had you bound, right? Maybe you had a soul tie with somebody that you shouldn't have been fucking with in the first place. I'm just saying. Those chains are being released. Now you can move forward. Because remember, we're moving on to next level things. And if I'm not mistaken, let me see. Last month, I talked about you guys being consistent. I talked about y'all being consistent. And it's very important for you to be consistent during this week as well. Don't give up. Don't fall back into old restrictive habits, old restrictive ways, because that hasn't served you. Now you've moved out of that energy. Now you can move towards being more open and receptive. And remember, like I said, this week, being more open-minded, right? And paying attention to the signs and synchronicities that you may be able to cash in on different opportunities. And this may be big shit, right? Pay attention to that. All right. Aquarius. What messages do you have for the sign of Aquarius for this week? How can they move forward this week? What guidance can you provide to the Aquarius? Ooh. Ooh. We got too many cards. Okay. We just got too many cards. I'm gonna shuffle one more time. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Aquarius for this week? See if we can get one more card. All right, that's it. Yeah, I got the Queen of Swords too. All right, there's two signs and I got the Queen of Swords. So making those head over heart decisions. You know what needs to be done. You know how to move forward. You've learned a lot over the years or over the last couple weeks or couple months. You've learned a lot. So utilize what you've learned to make decisions that are for your highest and greatest good going forward. Don't question yourself. Don't get in your head too much. Remember, Aquarius is air sign. Look. And Gemini got this card too, if I'm not mistaken. Gemini got this card too. But this is you making those head over heart decisions. You understanding how to utilize your own God-given talents and gifts. Right? Remember, I always when I do the meditation or the prayer over the cards, I always include us being able to utilize our own innate abilities, characteristics, and traits to manifest. So use yours. to manifest. Use the lessons that you learn. Use your own intuition. Don't be in your head too much. Balance it out. You know, you may seek counsel, or somebody may give you information this week. You know, take the information and take what you can from it that you can utilize, and the other, throw the shit away. Period. Right? So that's you making these head over heart decisions. And then I see this eagle at the top of the card, and this could be you flying solo. You making a decision to fly solo, and that's okay. You know, shit. I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day, right? But once again, like I told everybody else, make sure you're paying attention to what's going on around you, who's around you, what's happening. You know, what communication is coming in. All right. Pisces, last one. Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Pisces? What guidance can you provide to Pisces? Let me make sure Spirit, what messages do you have for the sign of Pisces for this week? What guidance can you provide to Pisces? All right, Pisces, you got the Eight of Swords in reverse. Once again, another person coming out of this bondage, coming out of this restriction. So if there's something that's been tying you down, something that has been, you know, keeping your eyes off of everything else, away from being able to see the big picture, you know, any type of distractions, now that energy is going away. Now you get to see things clearly. Now you get to move away from things that put you in conflict or in challenge. Because remember, swords represent conflict and challenge. They also represent air signs. So you could have an air sign, an Aquarius, Libra, or a Gemini that you were dealing with that put you in this energy, or vice versa. It could be the other way around. But nonetheless, now you can move forward. You can see what's going on, what was causing the conflict, because you weren't able to see that clearly, right? Especially since we had Mercury in retrograde. Now we can see Mercury this week. Mercury becomes visible, which is really good for you to be able to see what's happening, see what's going on. Really look into the fine lines that people try to, you know, because they try to blur you with this Mercury in Cancer, try to have this shit out Mercury. You know, they're not as direct as they should be. Okay? So now you can be able to read between the lines and see what's bullshit and what's not. And you can act on it going forward. All right? So I'm going to pull an oracle card for the collective to see how we can round this thing on out. We have paper. All right. Woo. Spirit, what messages do you have for us for this week? What guidance can you provide to us so that we can continue on our path of higher consciousness, to continue to manifest the things that are in our highest and greatest good, utilizing our own innate abilities, characteristics, and traits to move forward, to elevate, to bring in prosperity, peace, abundance, health, wealth, happiness, to be able to stay in the flow of the energies. I thank you in advance for your clear and concise messages. I know that you're always welcome here to provide us with what we need for our highest and greatest good. Whew. All right. Let's see. All right. Oh, okay, I will. Thanks, Kenny. All right. Spirit, what messages do you have for the collective for this week? What guidance do you have for us so that we can continue to flow with the energies? Spirit, message. One moment. All right, we got two cards. It says, Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? Okay, Leo season. Y'all see that? I really hope y'all can see these cards. They're so nice. All right. How are you being called to step up and lead? Remember, Leo season is all about leading. The lion is supposed to lead, right? Typically. Crumbling. What are you clinging on to? This reminds me of the Tower card in the tarot. Let's look at this here. How are you being called to step up and lead? So remember when I was talking about the sun trine Jupiter, there may be some of y'all that may get calls about leadership roles. There may be a project or something like that that you have to lead, that you have to, be the head of, right? And so, Spirit is saying, hey, take your position, make this move right here. Take your position, be the leader. You know how to be the leader. Don't pass up this opportunity, right? Because you may be afraid, because you may not think that you have everything that you need. You don't have everything together. All that negative self-talk, if it was presented to you, that means it was for you, right? And if you need further clarity, book your reading. Shameless plug. Book your reading, or just go into your own meditative state and ask for signs. Simple as that. And then it says, what are you clinging to? So remember I talked about this Uranus in Taurus transit that's going retrograde. So you won't be able to cling to things or become super attached to anything or anyone outside of self, right? Because Uranus and Taurus shakes things up, takes away tradition, right? Is rebellious, doesn't want to go with the flow or necessarily go with what's traditionally been done. Not necessarily go with the flow, but what's traditionally been done. Tradition does not exist when Uranus is around, period. All right. At the bottom of the deck, it says transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. All right. Deep healing. Some of y'all are needing that right now. And then it says to trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? You're always supported. You are always supported. Don't think you came here alone and you just by yourself. There's nothing or nobody to help you, because your spirit guides are here, your ancestors are here, your family and friends, whomever it is that you really cut for, they're here. So give me a second. I'm going to read what it says about priestess. Hold on. So the priestess says, the priestess is a teacher dedicated to service, freedom, and leadership. You don't need to have it all together to lead. Didn't I just say that? This is before I've never read the book in its entirety, FYI. I just went based off of my own intuitive. Oh, thank you, Rashawn. Thank you. Okay. And it says, okay, in fact, it helps if you don't have it all together. No one wants a perfect angel who hasn't made any mistakes. Let your life be your message. Don't underestimate the power of sharing your story. It's by hearing someone else's journey that we feel less alone. We realize that we're actually in this thing called life together. The difference between a follower and a leader is that a leader has the courage to go first. Ain't this what I said? To go first. And stepping out, they shine a light on the path for others to venture forward to. Virgo, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you about that new path that you got to go down. Don't fret too much about trying to work out who is your tribe. Don't get stuck in age, income, hobbies, or occupation. The best way to discover your tribe is to look in the mirror. If you feel called to lead, chances are it is because at some point in your life, you long for someone to lead you. Your tribe are longing for exactly the same thing as you were and are, and might only be one step behind you. Hell, they may even be right alongside you. You don't need anyone's permission, just the courage to stand up. Embrace your struggles, the peaks, the troughs. You don't need to know the way. Just believe that there may be a different one. Your tribe is waiting for you. Step forward so that you can find you. And then lastly, I'm going to read the crumbling. One moment, please. Where is it? Hold on. Crumbling. Where is the crumbling? Okay. There it is. And these are inquiry cards of the set. It says there is a shift happening right now where anything inauthentic can no longer survive. I think I told Pisces this last month about your authenticity creating abundance, being true to yourself. All right. Leo season is about being true to yourself. Leo is true to themselves for the most part. Okay, for the most part. Some won't be lying to themselves, but for the most part, Leos are true to themselves. All right. Relationships, jobs, social structures, anything built on shaky ground is destined to tumble down. That is the Tower card. And I told you how this other card here, how this card looks just like the Tower card. It's happening to bring you back home to who you truly are, both individually and to society as a whole, so you can live a life that is in alignment with who you truly are. When you're in the thick of it, it can feel like a personal attack from the universe. Have faith, because the difficult times will be your defining moments. You will be reborn in the fire. That's called the Phoenix Rising. You are being called to surrender, to stop trying to hold it all together, to loosen your grip, to let the crumbling occur. It may be difficult at first, but in the end, the sooner you let go, the sooner the rebirthing will occur. What are you trying to hold together? What are you doing your best to avoid? How are you trying to pretend everything is okay? You have what it takes to allow what is falling away to tumble and fall. Once the tower has crumbled, you will be able to rebuild your home on solid ground with mighty foundations and a view that is so magnificent that it will take your breath away each new morning. Kali, the goddess of destruction, and the Black Madonna are with you now. Lay it all on the altar. They can't hold it all. All right. So a lot of this reading is really centered around this Uranus and Taurus retrograde, as well as this Sun trine Jupiter for this week. So don't be blinded by everything that's going on, right? Stay steadfast on your own path and what you're supposed to be doing, right? Make sure you are looking for or you're paying attention or keeping your eyes peeled for opportunities for advancement to come your way, all right? Because they will be there, especially if you've been sowing good seeds. If you've been sowing bad seeds, I don't know about it, girl. I don't know about it. I don't know. I'm just saying, all right? And then even with this internal change, that also talks about that solid foundation that's in this crumbling card, being able to build things on something solid. You don't want to build something on falsity. Neither do you want to build something on shaky ground or something that's unstable or something that is not true to you or authentic to you. All right. So remember to stay true to yourself. So if you would like to book a personal reading, the information is down below in the description box. You can DM me on Instagram. The information is down in the description box for that. And you can also email me, go to my website, one or the other, or one of the three. What else is there? I think that's it. I really do appreciate you guys taking time to watch, to listen, to like, to support, to share my videos. Also, the people in the chat, the moderators, I appreciate y'all. I'm truly grateful for you guys being here, helping me out. I appreciate it. It's all love here. And I also do appreciate the cash apps that y'all send me. And as always, peace and love and light. And I holla. Bye-bye.